go ahead and start the recording. Let me go ahead and also start the stream. Wait, let me test audio. Can somebody say something?
Yo,
Hello.
what up?
Yo.
Perfect. Okay, audio is working there.
Right up. Still connected only.
Okay, everybody hop in. Join the stram. Mazel 1/2. LK didn't even want any credit. Okay. So here's our raid plan. I'm going to go through pretty quick. My goal is to get through P1 and P2, maybe cover a little bit of intermission tonight. I don't want to go more than a half hour though, just for attention span's sake, because I'd like your full attention. And I don't, I don't expect to have it for more than a half hour. I think that's a lot to ask. So I appreciate the attention you're able to give though. So let's dive right into it. These are my slides that are in the channel. Oh yeah, Buckus is still on the work phone.
Okay, so that's good. And then you said you did a change order today too?
Sure did.
Okay, we're gonna mute him for now.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, so these are in the Discord channel as well, but we're gonna go through them real quick. The first part we actually saw where we started and how it works, where we're basically moving around the room doing tank combos on square, moon, and then diamond is how it goes. So when we go and do the tank combo, I think it's really helpful to understand the logic of how the dragons work. So they pick the largest cluster of raiders, and then the closest dragon to the largest cluster of raiders will fire off, and then they will alternate sides. So like this, so then it would be second and third, then it would be fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh, eighth and ninth, 10th and 11th, and the 12th one is the last one over here. So as long as you see where they start, you know the pattern and where they're coming from. So if you just dodge tornadoes that came from, like, let's say fourth and fifth, you know that sixth and seventh is coming as well. And so it's not just any old direction that they come from, which I think is really helpful as far as like managing your cognitive load during the phase, because there's definitely a lot to look at. This fight, by the way, very difficult in terms of like a step up. There are guilds that have gotten to this before us, and they're still like at 200 pulls in, they're still doing P1. P1, the fight is pretty front loaded though in difficulty, I would say. Especially with our gear level, we should be fine with the other hard part, which is the damage check on the platforms. But getting through this first phase clean consistently is going to be our number one biggest hurdle, like no question. So understanding these mechanics is going to be super helpful to you. So tank abilities, big wide cones, we've seen them. There's only 4 possibilities. Tanks, if you are listening, the weak aura, the one that shows you the combo and fills it in for you, actually, because as they go along, eliminate possibilities, because it won't do the same one ever again. It can actually predict the whole like combo, sometimes by moon, but definitely by diamond. It knows what's happening after it sees the first one. So it's kind of interesting that way. So you can, as we go forward, you can more confidently know exactly what's coming next, but the first one's definitely a guessing game. Remember, we only soak either the first or the third part of the combo. Always the first if the first one is the circle, the conquest, but if it's this vanquished cone like this, the first one, then we are soaking third. Because you'll notice there's soaks on third. Every time that there's a frontal first, there's soaks on the third one. The whole...
Can you confirm for me? Sorry, Cork, one question. Can you confirm with me if your pull takes the first one always? My soak is always solo, right? There's no variation. No, it's not. Never mind. Second one would be group soak for me, right? The second combo.
Mm-hmm.
If your pull starts with the first, I'm second, he's third.
This one
and
here.
I get a fourth one. The third one.
Yeah.
Second.
Oh yeah, you're second. Yeah. So if you're second, yeah, Yeah. If you're
So I
second,
would be
he would
second
always
or
do
fourth.
this one here. And he would also always do this one here. So yeah,
And the first one. So
he's always doing the soaks. You would never do the second tank,
the
would never
second,
do them.
look at the second variation. Soak, Yorpal, frontal, me, frontal, Yorpal, frontal, Yorpal, right? And then soak me. That's the only variation in which I soak mine, right? Oh no,
Oh, solo soak. Oh,
solo soak.
you may
I
be.
just want to confirm that mine are always solo. They're not, right? There's one variation in which I actually stack it.
It would be. I don't think so, because you're always 2 and 4, right? And we only ever soak on 1 and 3. And you're 2 and 4. So yeah, it would never work that
okay.
way.
So mine are always solo. Okay, easy.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
We got that clear. So tank frontal will be faced on the marker first, but then it will rotate around and be like this second. So these are the ways that it'll be that way. It's either like this or it'll be like this range. So you know that you can either play here or just a little bit to the right. The reason that we do it this way and we do it here and then we soak on towards the outside of the room is that we are baiting those tornadoes to come in. However, if you'll notice, if we are soaking the first one and the first tornado is coming through here, it will always be coming right through us. So as we're going to soak, we'll have to sidestep around that tornado and then go soak. And then there'll be second and third tornadoes. If we baited right, those second and third won't be shooting at us here. But that's the basic idea, and that's how it's repeated throughout. After we complete the tank combo, there are the blaze lines. There's a couple of rules with this. Basically, you don't want to get pulled to the edge, and you don't want to leave any sort of your puddle in the middle of the room. We want to try and leave the middle as clear as possible. If it's a little bit overlapped, it's okay, but if we botch up the middle, that's going to make P2 very hard for us. Won't matter for a while in progression, but it's good for you guys to know that this is the goal. Leave middle open, don't get pulled to the dragons, and obviously don't get double hit here. Like if you overlap the line, you get hit by 2 people. Very rough. We leave these behind, and then the tanks will drag the boss away. It's a bit chiller than the heroic strat of like get out of the raid, go as far as you possibly can. You don't need to go as far as you possibly can. You just need to be spread, not double hit each other, don't hit the middle, don't hit the edge. That's the goal. You don't need to get that far away from the boss because the boss is moving all the way to moon, so you can drop some stuff here. Excuse me, sorry, I needed to cough there. Oh, I think that cough's going to be on the recording. I think I only muted Discord. Awesome. All right, so then we drop some more here. We move over to moon. Once we get over to moon, there will be a soul. This will be our first one that we face, and it will knock off a stack for us. If we face it and we don't face it properly, it will add a stack back. If that happens, then at some point you'll need to pop a big personal and try to soak 2 soaks. Like the one that the tank is soloing, you're going to be in there with them duo, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to survive the face, other than with Banna's Cyclone. So, and the number of souls that we need to face increases by 1 every time. So at the end of the phase, which is the most common wipe point for guilds, is the 3 spirit soak at the end. So that'll happen, and then it's just rinse repeat from here, where we do the tank combo. We leave the puddles we drop. There's 2 to soak right there, and then we will go into P2. Now, there's really not much to go over there in terms of strategy, right? But this is, make no mistake, the hardest part of the fight. So, how can we make this part easier, right? Like how can we prepare outside of raid for a phase like this, where the parts that are really difficult are tornadoes during soak, so you can save yourself with big defensives or good positioning. Some of us only have one option there because none of us have big defensives, or some of us don't have big defensives. And then the other part is facing spirits. which is just heads up play, being able to see the white ghosts, knowing when they're coming out, and knowing how many to face and in what order, because there's 3 of them. They'll come out, and they come out in a sequence, and you have to face each one in an order. So you can't, there's really no cheat for that. You just have to do it. Otherwise you are 100% dead. So there's 2 mega pass fails in this phase, and it's over and over again, and everybody, like all 20 players, have to do this. So it's a consistency nightmare, really. Like, it's a cool fight, and there's a lot to go on, but to get 20 people to do this consistently every time is going to take quite a bit of effort. So some ideas here, as far as like preparation is concerned. Number 1, which like always happens, do high M+. Like, if you're good at positioning your character, the more that you're used to doing your rotation, the more that you're used to doing defensives, you're gonna live through more tornadoes. If you're rusty showing up on and you don't do any challenging content until you show up to this boss, it is gonna absolutely slap all of us around. The whole team is gonna get slapped around. So that's something that we can do to prepare. Other than that, Kaiveza is really good for the second part. You actually need to face those spirits just like you do in the Kaiveza question mark in the delve thing. I highly recommend you guys check this out. Not only is it really fun, I think, but it also prepares you for this fight heavily. It's very good for positioning and learning to face things. It's actually harder to do the facing in Kaiveza than it is in this boss. So if you can get it down in Kaiveza, you'll be so good here. So I highly recommend you guys check that out soon while we're working on this boss. It'd be a great way to warm up, or just get yourself in good shape handling something like that and getting a feel for how it goes. So that, and then other than that, I would say, you guys are at PTRU, so I don't need to say come to those, but watch some POVs of different people killing this boss, because that will really help you get a sense of the rhythm outside of raid and how it goes, and give you some ideas. Especially with comms, I think is really good, because then you can hear like what they're calling out. Oftentimes what they call out are things that they've wiped to before, so you can get a good sense of like what's important there if you do it. So just some ideas of ways that we can prepare outside of raid to make a fight like this easier, because like I said, we could be on this first phase for like 4 weeks if we don't take it super seriously. The rest of the fight, as if we're prepared and we know like what's happening, I think we can get through it pretty easily, like pretty well. But the first part, consistency, is just going to be major. Like, if you can get yourself through this phase consistently, it's going to be, and the sooner you can do that, it's going to make a massive difference for the team. So who just showed up? Who was that?
I switched from my phone to computer.
Okay, cool. So there's just some ideas there. Any questions about phase 1? We're going to watch a VOD here in a bit, but
I was going to throw one more thing out there for practice. There is a pretty darn decent written guide with like clips of videos you can watch on Mythic Trap.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a reader, if you learn better reading than listening or watching, that's helpful. It really helped me.
I can link that in the Discord thing. That's a good call out. Okay. Any questions about P1?
Dumb question. When you say blaze, you mean the claw stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah. These are
okay.
These are like.
I just wanted to make
claws.
sure there wasn't a new mechanic that I missed.
Nah, it's the same. So yeah, you leave those behind as the tank moves the boss across the platform. The raid will move, but you just kind of stay behind with it. You don't even need to go super far behind. You do kind of want to leave this diamond half open, diamond star half open, so you don't want to go out to there and put anything here. Basically, we want everything in this space to be clear, but everything up here can be used for those blazes. Cool. Or claws. All right, so before we watch the VOD, let's just go over P2 really quick. So this is different than basically these pink puddles. You know the big Venn diagram circles that we drop on the this side of the room on heroic, and then they shoot out a beam in a random direction? That's what these are, except for it's not random. There are 2 possible sequences that they can go through, and it's random which one they go on. It's also random, independently random, which configuration they spawn in. They can either spawn like this one's here, or they can shift over like a half turn, half like little side to over here. So either they're not aligned with star, or they are aligned with star, and there's one that's like right in star. So there's just 2 positions. In this case, the raid will always go through the cleavage between the 2 balls and goes to star. If they were shifted over, then the raid would go over here to the left of star as you're facing the room, or right of star if you're facing outside, whatever. It'd be over here is where the raid would shift over to. So over here where the healer is. And then the tank will always be just to the right of wherever the raid is, over here. Tanks, I've seen people tank it here and then face the breath out this way. You can do that. I've seen people tank it a little bit more out here and face the breath this way. You can do it either way. Doesn't matter to me. As long as you're consistent with that, that's fine. Notice there's a warlock gate here set up for the group. So 2 things can happen here. So first thing is, this always happens first. It just shoots the beam across at each other, and we're safe over here. Second thing is, it does 3 things total. So the second thing is a toss-up. We don't know what's going to happen next the first time that we get here. They could either be shooting towards the middle in this type of pattern, in which case, if they shoot towards the middle, we're good on the edge. We want to stay on the edge. If they shoot outside, then we want to be in the middle. So we'll run to the middle. So they could shoot either way, but they're just going to do either that or that, and whichever one they do first, they're going to do the other one second. So they'll either start outside and go inside, or they'll start inside and then go outside. I feel like that I made that more confusing than it should be, but it's really simple. Does that make sense to everybody?
Definitely, watch the clip and you'll understand it real easy.
Yeah.
Situation.
So yeah, you see the beams facing on the inside here. You're good. You're chilling. If the beams are faced out first, we will run in. So we will not gate inside. You always gate the third and last thing. So if the second pattern is this, and we're out here, we actually run in together. And then we will gate out. That needs to happen. There's no question. So just make sure you get that in your head. If it's this configuration first, or sorry, second of the 3, then you will run from the star inside. And so they'll do that. Cool. And then we go to our sides, which I have them here if you're curious which side you're going on. This is the side split that I have organized. I have it in a note as well. I have kicks organized for those. But yeah.
Ah, you're pulling a fast one on me. Switching me to the other side. Don't worry, I can adjust.
Yeah, this is. I did not care at all what you were doing on heroic. I do not care.
I was teasing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's why.
I was memeing.
So let's just go over the platforms real quick, and then we can watch a VOD, and then we'll be done. Platform.
They're the same thing, but you have or an ad you shoot through the boss, like the second boss of Ecodome, right?
Second boss of Ecodome. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, actually. Or Nexus Princess Kaiveza. So similarly to Kaiveza, there are these targeted dashers. These reapers will go out in the square pattern. There's a shield on the prince, which is a kickable mob, and we're going to have a kick rotation, a 4-person kick rotation on these. They need to be marked by the tanks. I believe I need Yerpel to mark the one on the right with triangle, and Maza will mark the one on the left with, I think, circle. But we'll need you guys to have a macro for that. So as you're flying over, you just mark the prints, and then that will trigger the kick rotation. So in this, right, you point these through the prints and then get behind the opposite Reaper. So it'll be like an X pattern. The one that's on you is always red. If they're all blue, there's not one on you, and so you can just chill and not get dashed through. But if there's one that's red, then you need to make it to the spot. So when Massacre, is what this is called, Twilight Massacre, when this comes out, you'll just want to be near the middle so that you can make it wherever you need to make it to get behind the Reaper.
This is exactly like Kaveza, right? When we did one of the phases.
Yep, it looks exactly like it, and basically the same idea is that, yeah, you get behind the opposite one so you don't get double charged.
Yerpul and I get it? No way, right?
No, tanks don't get it. There's one more thing. There is a mortar, dread mortar. This is just a big swirly. We want to bait these right in the middle and then run out with it whichever direction is closest where the tank is going. You want to stay on the Titan. The whole point of this phase is a damage check on the Titan. So funnel damage and single target damage into the Titan is what matters most. It's the biggest check. As far as like damage check in the fight, it's the biggest damage check in the fight is killing this Titan. And we kick the Prince, but we kill the Titan and focus it down. So we bait the Dread Mortar in the middle range. You can kind of do an outside thing if you want to, but if you're like in this middle, there's like a no man's land here. You really don't want to play mid range. You either want to play out on the edge or stack in the middle. Don't be in no man's land, because that'll make it really hard for melee and give them less options.
Core, that's my land though.
That is your land. I think you dash into melee probably is the play for you to bait that. Okay, this is at the end of the intermission, but that's basically it for this part. Those are the two main mechanics there. Any questions on the platforms before we watch the VOD?
The kick on the Prince, can it just be sent right away? We don't have to hold it? Okay.
Yeah, it should be good. I have a plan to actually have 2 people assigned to every kick as well, so we have a backup for everyone already assigned. So like I have 2 rows, and so 2 people will see 1 for the first kick, and 2 people will see 2, and it'll look at them all the way up through 4, and then it'll rotate back. That's the plan. And yeah, you can send it pretty much right away. It doesn't matter that much. It's more important that you get the kick than that you milk it. I mean, if you milk it, fine, but if you don't, you don't. And that's also fine. I don't think it's a min-max.
I don't think the cadence probably doesn't matter. Is it tied to the Massacre? Not tied.
Yeah, and they were kicking like the 6th kick on this guy, but really probably before the 4th we'll have him dead. So it won't even matter. Yeah, we should have him dead pretty quick. Cool. So that's that for those phases. Let's go ahead and watch a VOD here. We're gonna watch an AUG evoker POV, because they're right in the middle. So if you're a melee, you're happy it's kind of close to where you play, and if you're ranged, you're happy because it's kind of close to where you play. All right, let's check it out. So I think what's difficult about this is actually the pace. It goes pretty quick from thing to thing that can one-shot you. So the first one is a soak, so they soak it. He goes around the beam. Yeah, it's left and right there. Good. Notice how that Vanquish there, Tanks, was to the side. That's the second one was to the side. So I think really like you guys play at right angles of each other. You said you're the second one, so you'll probably play at this angle, and no matter if you get the Vanquish first, you don't need to face it outside Mazza. You can just face it there just like they are and stay over here on this side.
I was going to ask you, because you said the first one always goes out, right? They didn't do that.
They didn't do that. Yeah. I think that's because they're playing at this right angle, and this one, this guy, rather than move it, it's more important that it stays consistent. If you move this thing, then it gets a little crazy, right? You want to kind of just keep it positioned wherever it's positioned.
It perfectly makes sense, but like that just to show that like he didn't panic and moved it.
Yep, exactly. Cool. So third of the combo, and then number 4. This is a solo. And then there, he said getting ready for the blaze lines. Now what you want to do, and this is what he's doing, and it's really good range, is you would kind of pre-position here, right? Because the boss is moving this way. So you don't want to be up here, right? You would want to be around here because the boss is going to go away from you. So this is really good pre-positioning from him. He's already getting over there.
The tanks also didn't solo, so both tanks were in that together.
Yes, there's somebody else in there. It wasn't solo.
Yeah. It was both tanks.
Two people in there.
Yeah, I think both tanks probably do it. It was a prot warrior or a warrior. I assume prot warrior.
Okay.
A little shield thing.
I wonder if that's a comp thing or if you just always do that. That'll be something to think
Well,
about.
it like have the damage on each of them, right? So it's probably worth.
Probably. It gives you that debuff,
like a meteor
right?
effect.
So you take more on the second one than you would on the first, but it might not matter because you get 50% DR basically with the second one.
Buddy.
So we could take a look at that and get more specifics. That's a good call. Okay, so they're placing these blaze lines. Notice there, there's a little one in the middle here. This is a little sus, but they're doing okay. They're spreading these out, and then they're going to moon. First spirit here is just a single, so you're just looking at that. Notice that when it spawns, really important that you guys get that animation in your head of like exactly what that looks like over here. So just check this out. Yep, it does a little one of those. If you're not paying attention, you can actually miss it. And if you miss the spawn, then you miss the order. So it's really important that you see that as it spawns. Okay, and then we rinse repeat. We do the tank
can you
combo.
go back to the claws really quick?
Sure.
Yeah, I can't just see this one more time. Just want to see how aggressively the boss moves. Like
Not
when
much.
when we reposition. So it looks like it's moving right after second claw spawn.
Yeah, they do like a little stutter in between first and second. And then they go big after the second goes out. A little stutter, second, and now they're just blitzing there.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Okay. First spirit here.
Done.
So let's just watch the rest of the phase here, get the pacing. They're going to soak this, so they sidestepped it. I really like that the tank went to the side there, Yerpal, if you're watching. That's pretty good, right? He saw the tornado coming out and then adjusted. And so it's like all safe right there as you go to it. It's really on the raiders to dodge it, but I mean, that helps for sure.
Yeah, looks like both tanks.
Frontal coming up into blaze lines after.
Both tanks again. Okay. Good catch. Okay, these are the blaze lines. That's a warlock. I don't know why it's moving like that. It's crazy.
Spirits in 5.
Yeah, right there. They moved after second spawned again.
Here's 2 spirits, so 1 and 2. 1, 2. So they looked at them in sequence there. And now they're good. And it looks like nothing, right? Because this is a kill, but it's a wipe if you miss it. Basically, you have to hit those every time, or you wipe the team. So trust me when I say it's a big point of progression for everybody. So the more that you can get familiar with what that looks like, it's going to be better. Soaking third, 2 tanks in this one. And now they've got the triple spirit. So they got 1, 2 is right next to him, and he moves away from it. Notice that he moved away from it to get some distance. He didn't just stay planted. He moved towards the other one. That's actually critical. Let's watch that again. So he sees 1 spawn and 2's right next to him. So then he reacts and moves away and towards the first one. Just either forward or back to keep himself faced. Then he faces 2. And notice how he's moving forward and back to make sure that his character is faced there, right? He's like strafing forward and back, like moving, rocking a little bit to make sure that his character's faced there. By the way, if you have a channeled ability like Disintegrate, Arcane Missiles, whatever, it screws you on this. It faces your character towards the boss and you die. So you got to be really careful. If you start the channel, you can turn it during, but it's very risky to start the channel and then turn it. But it will snap you towards the boss. So then he does 3 there. Let's just watch that again in real time. 1, move forward, turn around, 2, and 3.
Done.
And notice he wasn't perfect on the lines there either. It was pretty dang close, but he wasn't. He was a little bit to the left of it, a little left, and then a little left either each time. But that's it. If everybody in the raid does that, then you're good here. Personals here. This hits pretty hard here towards the end. And then we go into that P2. So they'll look for the spawn here. Notice that it's on here, so you'll go between in the cleavage. So we actually, my plan would be to go here. It doesn't matter though, but we're going to go here. They're Europeans, so they're going over here. But you can go either one, but you go between, right? So you wouldn't go to star here, you would go to this open space.
We're on the right of star.
Just know that we would be here in this sequence. Then you got first beam.
Beam.
Watch the beams.
Okay, second beam indicator. So this is where we have a decision to make. So what are they doing right now? Somebody tell me.
Running.
Middle.
That's right, Spoomy. And Andy said it perfect because it's run as well. So you don't gate or do anything crazy here. You run in. I think I have a time spiral assigned here and some movement speed, but you just run to get towards the middle. That's why this blaze line that I told you about at the beginning is a little illegal because we're actually going right through there. But yep, you just run in. So they actually just walk in there and get right to the center because this tightens up pretty hardcore. So you want to get pretty close to the center, right? Like, yeah, you want to be in the center. Otherwise you get ticked by that beam, and then they gate out. So the third one is the gate out. So let's just watch
Are
that.
they 3-dealing this bad boy?
They are, yeah. They had to for pride.
All right, who we benching?
That's kind of beautiful.
Hey, Muck, you're going Og, bro.
It's like a work of
Oh
art.
shit.
Okay, let's watch
He
that.
didn't think about that option.
Let's watch that in real time.
We're on the right of star.
Dude, I am absolutely screwing the recording here by coughing.
Beam.
You guys can't hear it.
He's gonna be sick.
It's like bonus content if you tune in.
Beam.
Ugh, a little ASMR cough.
Shit. Who wants
Will you
to
scratch
shit?
your mic or brush your hair or something?
Beam.
Gate out.
Time spiral.
So what's cool is that they do this again. After the platforms, we do this again. But because they saw that, they know exactly what's going to happen in the next one. So the next one will be opposite. So they'll actually go to star on the next one because they were here. So it'll swap over. And then they won't run in. They'll stay out because the beams will shoot in first. And then on the very last one, then they'll gate inward. So everything reverses. Once you see this first combo, you actually know everything that's going to happen on the second one. If you remember it. It's kind of a little bit of a memory game. Because now you're going to go over here. He didn't do the little skippy jump. So this is marked. I think it is a diamond Mazda that we're going to have you mark here. Well, I'll let you
That
know.
Shadow Priest missed that crash. What the heck?
Get this word up. This is the enhancement shaman.
This is like the one.
Saver.
So
Yeah.
here's the beams. Notice this white bar is actually how long they have to kill it, and this blue bar is its health. So they're behind here, but cooldowns are coming up, especially for the Arcade Mage. The cooldowns are coming up on this platform, and Arcade Mage absolutely blasts this Titan. So we'll be dependent upon our mages to do very well on this Titan here. So they're doing this figure here. So if I were targeted by this one, I would sit here behind the opposite one. If I was targeted by this one, I would sit here behind the opposite one. If I was targeted by this one, I would sit here behind the opposite one. You just go through the middle and then make sure you get behind the other one so you don't get double charged here. And it goes through the prince and does damage to him as well and takes the shield off. That bait is really quick after the massacre. So you want to try to get in pretty quickly. If you're going to bait right in the center, bait. And see, you can see how they didn't even do that clean. And you can see how it can become very hellish if you do it wrong. Also, it splits the group. So some people are not going to be able to keep uptime on the Titan. And that's death. So it's actually pretty important that you bait those mortars.
We have a Respro.
Beams.
Same thing. This is heroic mechanic, just the beam rotating. So they've done like one rotation of kicks here.
Ready for the next massacre now.
And they just barely got ahead of the timer. And that's all it is. But it is a big damage check.
Yeah.
Say what?
I definitely want to have Call of the Wild up, yeah?
Yeah.
It's 1 minute cooldown, so.
Let me see what time in the fight that is real quick. I want to wrap this up really quickly, but let's take a look here. So that time in the fight is... It's about 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I'll have it up every minute, so.
Oh, okay, then you'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah, and if you get like a funnel build, that might be like a pretty good no multi build, I'm not sure. So they know that they haven't seen the portals yet, right? But they come back and they go on star. So if you remember, Spoomy, what are they gonna do?
We're gonna wait.
Old.
That's right. So the first beams are always the same. There's nothing to do.
Make sure Narcos is for rebuff if you haven't.
You're hitting the dragon here, by the way. More dragon damage means more boss damage. So you're hitting the Voidwing.
Be on the edge.
So they can stay on the edge, right? It faced inside. It's the opposite of what happened last time. If you're behind this little line here, you're safe, basically. If you go close to this line, you're dead. So just stay behind that line. Notice they're like way on the edge. They're playing it super safe. You could be up here, but they're getting in because it's the third and last one. Just be right in the center because it tightens up on you. Good. And that's it. And then we got intermission. I think that is enough material for one day. You guys have any questions or anything we need to do to wrap it up?
No, I gotta go.
I think you mentioned this, but just when you're doing the ads on the platform, they hurt everybody they would go through. So like if you don't see, is that how that works?
Yeah. Yeah, so you
That's
wouldn't
why we make a plus sign. So
if
we
they
make sure
weren't
that they're predictable.
No, it's because they need to go through the boss. It's the only possible way you could put it so that they go through the boss and also not get you double hit, right? So if they're going through the boss, what'd you do, Vex?
Oh, it's pretty unforgiving.
Talking to someone else, sorry.
But there's no leeway because I feel like see how that bottom one is pointed, like he's not quite dead through the boss. He would.
Oh.
Would that miss the boss?
No,
right now.
No, that'll hit. It's more just you want to get behind the opposite one. So as long as you do that, then you'll be... Well, it's not just safer. You just don't get double hit by the massacre. So you can see...
Got it.
You can see here, like, right as they go through, it did half or more than half of his life when it went through him, just a single. So that's the only possible way you can get it through the boss and also not get double hit is to just do what I said. So it's not that you make the plus sign so it's predictable for everyone. You just make the plus sign because it's the only thing you could possibly do. There's literally no other configuration that works. Everybody else should be playing in the blank spots.
Got it.
Cool. Now's the time to ask that kind of question. It's good.
I had another question.
Hi, Banna.
When the tanks... Hello. When we're doing the tank soaks...
Yes.
If we miss one, because let's say we're dodging a tornado, can we get in the second one and be fine?
Yes.
Mega personals.
But you need like Omega bear form bark, like everything in the world on you. Yeah. Especially if they're doing the 2 tanks in here, so you're actually triple soaking that with them.
I lived once with just shaman personals. So.
Yeah, I remember you said that on our first night. Yeah.
So I don't know if I think someone else might have been in there too. Like I don't think it was just me and Maza, but.
So yeah, it's if you miss a soak or you miss your spirit. If you miss your spirit too, you would need to do a double soak on the next one at some point. So yeah, that's a good call out. Cool.
Well, isn't double soaking worse? I was just saying if missed the first one, then you could take the second one because it's not technically a double soak then.
No, because you're gonna take all the magic damage.
No,
you can't.
That wouldn't be the reason why. I think if you notice it, you could do that. I don't know why you'd miss it, but I think you could do that as well, Bano. if you manage your
There's
CDs, right?
There's two mechanics. The ability is Conquer, and there's two mechanics. The first one is the physical damage to the tank, and the second one is magic damage split between everyone in the soak. And if you're not in with the group, you're going to take the full brunt of the split magic damage, or maybe half of it. The tank will take the other half.
We're talking
so if you're
case...
so if you miss the first soak and you jump in the second one, you still better hit a freaking personal.
Oh yeah,
it's not as bad as taking 2 in one phase, but you are going to get slammed.
Yep, definitely. Yep, you can do it, but it would be hard for sure. You definitely need Jesus to live, but people do it. And different classes have an easier time with it. I can like save GS for callouts on that if we have somebody that needs to do it or whatever. So, yep, we got something for it. Cool. Any other questions before we wrap this up? All right. Thanks for your time and your attention, your attendance. I appreciate you guys. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Professor Core.
GG, brethren.
Bye-bye.